Have you ever heard of a monument so mysterious, so controversial, that it was nicknamed America's Stonehenge? A place that offered a 10-point guide for rebuilding humanity after an apocalypse, but ended up being destroyed itself. Today, we're diving deep into the enigma of the Georgia Guide. Picture this. A remote field in Elbert County, Georgia. Suddenly, rising from the earth are 6 massive granite slabs, towering over 19 feet high and weighing a staggering 237,000 pounds. Unveiled to the public on March 22nd, 1980. This bizarre structure wasn't just for show. It was a complex astronomical calendar. A hole drilled through the central stone, aligned with the North Star, and a slot was carved to track the sun's journey during solstices and equinoxes, much like its ancient namesake in England. But the real mystery wasn't just its function. It was its message. Carved into the 4 giant standing stones were 10 guidelines, or commandments, for a post-apocalyptic society. And these weren't just in English. They were inscribed in 8 of the world's major languages: English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, Chinese, and Russian. The creators clearly wanted this message to be understood by whoever was left. So, what did these mysterious commandments say? The first one was perhaps the most shocking and controversial. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. 500 million people. Considering the world population was already over 4.5 billion in 1980, this directive immediately sparked fears and accusations. Was it a call for a sinister plot by a shadowy elite, or simply a practical suggestion for a species starting over? The other 9 guides were a mix of lofty ideals and philosophical advice. They called for guiding reproduction wisely, uniting humanity with a new living language, and ruling with tempered reason. There were instructions to protect people and nations with fair laws, to let all nations rule internally while resolving external disputes in a world court, and to avoid petty laws and useless officials. The final 3 commandments were more spiritual and existential. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, and love, seeking harmony with the infinite. And finally, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. These messages sound, well, a bit like a utopian blueprint, don't they? A vision for a more harmonious world, living in sync with nature. But for many, the words were anything but benign. The call to keep the population under 500 million was seen as a direct threat, leading to theories that the Guidestones were the manifesto of a secret society aiming to establish a new world order. Critics labeled the monument as pagan or even satanic, and it became a magnet for conspiracy theories over the decades. Adding fuel to this fire was the complete and utter mystery surrounding its creation. Who would spend a fortune to build such a thing? The story goes that in June 1979, a well-dressed, articulate man walked into the Elberton Granite Finishing Company. He introduced himself using the pseudonym R.C. Christian. He claimed to represent a small group of loyal Americans who wanted to commission a monument to transmit a message to future generations. He explained that his group had been planning this for over 20 years and wanted it to be able to withstand catastrophic events. The president of the granite company thought he was dealing with a nut and tried to quote him an impossibly high price to get him to go away. But R.C. Christian didn't even flinch. He simply asked for the name of a local banker. At the bank, he revealed his true name and details, but only under the condition of a legally binding confidentiality agreement that would last forever. He proved he had the funds, and the project began. R.C. Christian's true identity, and the identity of the group he represented, remain one of the biggest secrets of this entire saga. All we know is that the name R.C. Christian itself is likely a clue. A possible nod to Christian Rosencreuz, the legendary founder of the esoteric Rosicrucian order. Was this a clue pointing to a secret society with deep historical roots? We may never know for sure. For 42 years, the Georgia Guidestones stood, silently offering their cryptic advice. They attracted tourists, truth-seekers, and vandals. The monument was defaced with graffiti multiple times, with messages like death to the New World Order spray-painted across the stones. People debated their meaning endlessly. Were they a guide for survival, a warning, or a sinister agenda set in stone? Were they created by a benevolent group hoping to help humanity, or by an elitist cabal planning to control it? The debate raged on, with supporters seeing the Guidestones as a thoughtful piece of art promoting environmentalism and global harmony, while detractors saw them as the commandments of an anti-human, pagan cult. The mystery of R.C. Christian and his anonymous group only deepened the divide, allowing people to project their greatest hopes and deepest fears onto the cold, silent granite. And then, in the early morning hours of July 6th, 2022, the story took a dramatic and explosive turn. A powerful explosion rocked the site, reducing one of the 4 main slabs to rubble. Surveillance video captured the blast, showing a car speeding away from the scene moments later. The monument that was designed to withstand a global catastrophe couldn't even withstand a modern act of vandalism. Following the bombing, for public safety reasons, authorities made a swift decision. Later that same day, the remaining structures were completely dismantled and torn down. Who'st like that America's Stonehenge was gone? The granite slabs, once a towering beacon of mystery, were reduced to a pile of broken rock. The destruction of the Georgia Guidestones didn't end the mystery. It only deepened it. Now, we are left with even more questions. Who was R.C. Christian? What was the true purpose of his 10 guidelines? And who felt so threatened by these messages that they decided to blow them up? The monument may be gone, but its legend lives on, a testament to a strange and fascinating chapter in modern American history. It serves as a powerful reminder of how a single mystery can capture the public imagination, sparking decades of debate, fear, and wonder. What do you think? Were the Guidestones a message of hope, or a warning of something far more sinister? Let me know your theories down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more mysteries.